What's is something a partner wanted to try that freaked you out at first but now you're into it? Cuddling. No joke, he was so doubtful that it'd do anything, and now we do it every time we meet. I did the same with my boyfriend. He now will occasionally cuddle me in his sleep. Wait. He was doubtful about cuddling? Damn, that sounds frustrating to deal with. Why is that frustrating? What's frustrating is dealing with someone like you who isn't understanding that people like me don't always like being touched. I love my wife and kids very much, but I don't feel the need to constantly touch or be touched. I enjoy my space. For people who value touch highly as a display of affection, it would be extremely frustrating. I would never be able to date someone with a disposition like yours. That isn't to say that either of us is in the wrong or undeserving of love, but rather that preference for touch is an important point of compatibility in a relationship. I totally agree. The idea of someone clutching constantly onto me gives me the chills. My wife is somewhere in the middle, which works because she knows about me and I know about her. We both make concessions and it works for us. I was really scared to ask my wife to try prostate play with me. Now it's her favorite way to give me for guys who want to ask, so I'd suggest phrasing it as prostate play and might help smooth the convo. Edit. I wish it showed your top comments on Reddit. My other one was about eating. Gotta love it. I call it the fun finger. I once participated in a thread to the lively tune of listing the many ways of phrasing toss your salad. Husband told wife he was gonna throw her salad out because it had gotten soggy and gross. Husband says, while cleaning fridge, do you mind? Some of the better ones were mama cat her brown eye, props to my homie on that one, tongue shovel her stink ditch, the ever popular tongue punch her box, and my favorite, check her spokes. By the way guys, if you are enjoying this video so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It will help us out quite a bit, and if you don't enjoy the videos in the future anymore, you can always unsubscribe. Let's get back to the video. Degradation, bondage, in general. I'm super shy and always had a feeling I wanted to try those things, but was always too afraid to speak up about them, so past partners, my current and I were fairly vanilla for the first couple months, until he goes I wanna try something, and next thing I know, I'm tied to the bed and blindfolded while he just kinda goes to town however he wants. 6 years together, and it's still fantastic. My start was even tamer than that. We used to send each other, and one time I just felt like being cheeky and sent one of a girl with her hands tied. Now we are enormous. The great and cheap entry method, and it totally won't out you when it's found in your house. Go to Home Depot or even Walmart. For like $4 you can get a wooden yardstick. Make a great starter paddle as well as a useful measuring tool. Steps ahead to the toy section. Buy all metal but easy open handcuffs, maybe $10. You can say they are play cuffs and belong to the kids. Welcome to the world. Your Ed Room starter kit. He wanted me to spit in his mouth when we were having Took me a while to work up the courage cause it felt weird and kind of degrading or something. But the times I went for it, he was so visibly into it. Still I could take it or leave it, but I came to appreciate the feeling of dominance and the sudden increase in passion it brought about. You said it best, the feeling of dominance. I'm a switch and my ex-girlfriend was my dom. Being both spit and excited me, but it wasn't about the fluids themselves, it was about dominance and submission factors that bonded us. I never thought of it that way. I never understood why someone would enjoy being that just makes so much sense though. It seems really obvious now. Also, at least to me, spit and are one of the more taboo kinks. And that, much like anything else, requires trust, communication, and respect. But the taboo-ness makes it, I guess, more exciting and creates more trust. It's hilarious to me that you just Trojan horsed pee into this spit conversation, like they go hand in hand. Going for walks. for the longest time I thought walks were just an inefficient mode of transit. Now I thoroughly enjoy them. Same here, my wife was insisting on walks. I hate them at the start, but now I love it. I even go on solo walks to clear my mind and relax now regularly. Similar situation here. My partner loves going for walks, and I never really enjoy them. I mean, I do walk almost everywhere, but I always saw them as a necessity and never enjoyed just walking aimlessly. Now she tells me let's walk to X, and that is enough of an objective to get me into it. My last girlfriend was really into biting my lips when we'd make out, and she's the only one woman I've ever kissed who's done that, and I kinda miss it. I got her into having her grabbed, though literally nobody had ever made comments about liking her before. Edit, woohoo. My first award, and apparently something that everyone can relate to. My first girlfriend used to do that to me as well, and it drove me up wall in a good way, and she actually did it during our first kiss, which left a great impression on me. I walked her to her front door, we stopped and talked for a few, she gave me a huge hug, and after almost a minute hugging she slowly pulled her upper torso away, and while keeping her hips tightly pressed against mine she then leaned in and kissed me, while unbeknownst to me, she had opened the door behind her, and she started to back away into the door, and right at the last second before completely pulling her lips away from me, she bit down on my lower lip and held onto it until she was completely in the door except for her head, at which point she let go and closed the door between us. Not even ashamed to admit it, even to this day I have never met a woman who has left that strong an impression on me. I was thinking about nothing but her non-stop for days after that, and I'm not even going to try and deny it. That girl had game and finished it out of me. Wouldn't say I'm into it exactly, but an ex a long time ago wanted to give me a rim job, begged and begged, bargained and threw fits. She's a strange one, is the absolute nicest way to say it, was actually a bit pleasurable. Needless to say, she kept trying to go further with it and experiment more and more, and now nobody's allowed down there. She ruined a good feeling. Damn. That's where it started. Her end goal was to manipulate me into letting another man rail me while she watched. She had succeeded with at least one of her past relationships, and she was super proud that she was able to browbeat and gaslight a straight man into engaging in acts as the bottom. With people's psyches is her hobby. She needed help. Like really bad. Lost cause. She's smarter than most shrinks and usually end up messing them up without them helping her at all. She does need help, but doesn't want it. She's faked her way into a legitimate diagnosis because she thought it'd be cool to be labeled DID or bipolar, the list goes on. But she, for sure, has some type of full-on antisocial personality disorder. She is far and away the worst person I've ever known. Sucking on my balls. I was used to getting good ones from my previous relationship, but my current girlfriend said she preferred sucking on balls. I wasn't sure at first, but now it is legitimately the only way I like to get off. Her sucking on my balls and massaging them with one hand and slowly me off with the other. I want to try this with my boyfriend, but I'm so scared of hurting him. They just seem so fragile and it freaks me out. Do you have any tips, or should I just go for it, lol? I'm on the receiving end of it, so I can't really offer any helpful insights myself. XD, I asked my girlfriend right now. She said that if you're close enough with your partner, it is okay to practice step by step. Again, I'm a guy, so I feel very weird saying this, but you are supposed to gingerly feel around with your tongue first so as to gauge the weight of the ball or balls, then proceed to close your mouth around just one ball at first. Look to your partner for feedback as to how much pressure feels right, and then increase your speed, but not your vigor. These are her words, not mine. XD, also, as a guy, all I can say is no teeth please. Making last minute plans. I have autism and last minute planning freaks me out. Vacations are usually planned months ahead. I pack my bag about a week before. Now I've already planned a romantic getaway for the two of us the week before, twice. It still is a little difficult for me, but I'm starting to like it more and more. I'm happy for you. As someone that is somewhat close to the spectre, I don't know how to phrase this. English is not my native language and I've barely ever spoken about this with people from outside my IRL friend circle. I can say that I also took a bit to get used to that kind of stuff, but now spontaneous questions, big plans and invites are something that I really like. During video calls. Glad to hear I'm not the only one who does this and has learned to love it. Last time at work they had a video conference. Nobody knew that not only was I but I was successfully keeping all 10 of the live scorpions in my pants pockets from falling out onto the floor. That takes skill. Another thing that freaked me out at first, but I now love, is glory hole Tuesdays at my favorite suck spot. Also one time I got drunk and my ex-wife's mailbox slot as a tribute to our marriage. This comment gave me whiplash. Lol, all this NSFW stuff, and I'm over here playing Stardew Valley obsessively. This after having watched my husband playing and thought, why the hell is he spending so much time on this boring game? Yes. Me too. I supported my girlfriend loving the game, but couldn't understand it. Then 2 days into a mandatory 2-week isolation I decided to give it a try. 30 days later, I'm in fall of year 2, married, brewing beer, exploring caves, just finished the community center, and wish I was playing right now. Man, I wonder if we would have had these games if the creators of Harvest Moon never made their game. Like, it seems like such an absurd premise for a game. The most boring ever. But a decade ago I was playing it on an SNES emulator, while I could have been playing modern computer or console games. Being domineering. She straight up could not without some sort of physical or verbal domination. All the regular things like choking, hair pulling, spanking, and smacking around was like mild for her. She wanted to be tied up, blindfolded and just used like a life-size doll with no emotions. One time during a very hard session, she started bleeding. Now I understood her wants, but when I draw blood from an actor, I pretty much take that as a safe word. So I stopped and told her she was bleeding, and before I could even explain she yelled back in some sort of demonic possession voice, "Put it back in, and me till you I act like a man." That made me wanna tone it up a notch permanently. God damn, that ain't no freak of a girl. She a straight up demon. She once told me I was a because I wouldn't slap her hard enough, so I backhanded her, and she came harder than I'd ever seen her do. I bruised her retina that night, and she still asked for it. She was something else. Bondagey kinda stuff. Impact play. Some pretty hardcore roleplay themes. Before I was with her, I was super vanilla guy. And honestly, 8 times out of 10, vanilla is still the preference for me. Good is amazing, either way. But if I have a partner who is into all that other stuff, I find it fun to indulge sometimes now. Definitely got into it with her. It's not my favorite, but it's fun as a way to switch it up a bit. Ultimately being with her took me from being a really vanilla guy to a fairly sometimes kinky guy. What's impact play? Essentially it's gratifying striking lol. There are levels to it. I mean, I suppose technically playfully slapping a partner's when they lean over to do something at any point in the day is impact play, now that I think about it. But in this case, yeah, went quite a bit further, haha. I had an old lover who liked foot stuff. Told my current boyfriend about it early in our relationship, in the context that I thought it was weird, but I could see how someone would be into it. I mean, feet are sensitive, it makes sense, just isn't my thing. He and I are pretty adventurous, but after almost 4 years together I guess it's kinda sunk in for him. He sort of leaned into it once or twice in the past year, you know, just briefly. But this past weekend he was like, "I want them feet nom nom," and then wanted me to reciprocate. Again, I'm not personally into foot stuff, but I get the enjoyment. And I'll suck a few toes, or have mine sucked for the sake of fun in the moment. I think it freaked him out before, but the more he thought about it, and possibly started watching related the more he opened up to trying it. No harm, no foul. I mean, when I first thought about it, I was like EWW gross feet, but the more I think about it, it ain't that bad compared to the other stuff people are into. At first it weirded me out, and I felt like a ventriloquist, but seeing her get pleasure from it made me get into it. I didn't think that people enjoyed that TBH. I thought it was another move to look impressive. That's what I thought at first too. She was really into it though. I couldn't help but think I was hurting her to begin with. The same woman asked me to choke her during as well. Weirdly, that was where I drew the line. Oddly, I think choking is pretty okay, but weirds me out a lot. Choking just seems a bit dodgy to me. I know about safe words and that, but it just seems a bit too violent for me. I know it's not meant to be done in a violent way during obviously, but I can't help but think of choking as a violent act. I'm not saying it's wrong to do it during though, because clearly some people enjoy it. It's just not my thing. Wearing a woman as a glovies. My ex was only the 4th girl I had been with. All girls were like ons. She one day asked me why I never went down on her. Told her just not my thing. After like a month I just said FCK it and went down on her. Not sure I loved it at first, but eventually I fell in love with it, and I love doing it. Got pretty good at it too, lol. Thank you, ex-girlfriend. It's an acquired taste. I could not agree more with that statement. I'm still on the fence about it, but I know my lady really loves it, so I want to do it for her. I really loves when she sits on my face. How can you still be on the fence? I will add it also depends on the girl. Can't do it with every girl. Gotta know and trust the girl. No randoms. Public for quickies. My first ex was they come, and it didn't matter where or who was around. If it could be done secretly, she wanted it. At first I was really freaked out and terrified, you know, expecting someone to see us or catch us, etc. But I was young, dumb and well, getting laid. Those thoughts perished quickly after a few times, and it became an exciting race to see if I could satisfy her before anyone caught on. Second ex got me into as she discovered she was a sub and was into being dominated. It escalated until we had a S&M dynamic both in and outside the bedroom. She had one request I flat out denied, and that was she wanted to be tied up, blindfolded and used like a doll without condom by me and any other guy I approved of. That was a no-go, and honestly it didn't come as a surprise when eventually I found out she was cheating on me and broke up with me for the other guy, even if she'll say she broke up because it wasn't working between us anymore. That's rough, buddy. Oh, it gets even better. Only reason I found out she was cheating was because I saw her wedding pictures, getting married to this other guy, after we had been together for 5 years. It broke me badly to the point of not trusting any woman when it came to interest in me, as I believed them all to be lying. Admittedly, no one ever did show any interest in me, but it's in the past, as this was 7 years ago, and I've been single since, spending time focusing on my work and my mental health. Thinking back, there were plenty of red flags and even bloody warning lights flaring up. I adored my ex, fantasized about walking her down the aisle on a beach in a sunset, and then, during foreplay, she asked me to slap her face. I was shocked. I was terrified. How could I hurt her when I love her so much? It was like someone had asked me to commit a crime against humanity. Then she asked again, pleading. Then I slapped her across her face. The boy in me died that day. I almost had tears in my eyes while she was moaning. With every slap I made, it felt like someone boxed me back right into my chest. I was so confused. After light slapping and going a bit harder, I felt undiscovered arousal coming up. The power, the submission, it triggered so much in me and stayed with me since. Fast forward till today, we are no longer together, but this dominant kink remained. All my past partners who had the same kink were amazing because of that. Women always felt I was their sanctuary, fantasy wise. We live in a weird world, but it's a hell of fun. Daddy kink. My ex-girlfriend had one, and I was sort of weirded out by it at first, but we tried it together once and now I'm totally into it. Turns out I loved being my girlfriend's daddy. I had a fling who loved this. Me. Not so much. Who am I supposed to be in this scenario? Your daughter? Stepdaughter? Thinking of incest just killed the mood for me. For some, maybe. Forkcest roleplay is a thing. But most people enjoy it as a dom term outside of that, similar to master, sir, etc. My ex would call me daddy, but I never thought of her as my daughter and neither did she. Not as freaked as much as mind blown, and I think that deserves credit as well. Me and my girlfriend are pretty matched, being she is a dom, and I'm a sub. It goes beyond that in fantasies, but I don't think I need to specify, just take my word for it. She was into Mind Break, it has CNC in it, and it basically starts as a non-consensual where she does whatever she likes, and at some point my mind is supposed to break and start being mentally slaved, and love whatever she wants to do. That sounded mind-blowing to me, since the intimacy of having your mind controlled. Degradation of various kinds made me a little uncomfortable at first. I'm still not wild about slapping, and I just don't think I would do punching at all beyond maybe arms or legs, saying very mean doesn't turn me on outside of how it turns on a partner, and I don't personally have any interest in terms like or I'll say it. Just tell me what to say, and I'll say it. But if it's entirely up to me, I prefer baby girl, dollface, babiddle, love, things like that. I'll go up and I will enjoy them sometimes. That can be fun. But I don't want to go much farther than that, unless it's for someone else. Then I'm absolutely down. There are plenty of things I do for other and that's the way I like it, so it's all good. It just kind of freaked me out at first a little bit a long time ago. So now that I've had a good deal of experience with women who do like to be degraded more than I like doing it on its own, I've started to see it differently and very much enjoy what it does for them. I guess you could kinda say this about feet too. I've known a handful of women who either like to give foot jobs or like to have their toes sucked or licked or something. I was never vehemently opposed to it. I remember being receptive, but I think I thought it would just be something I did for her. She wanted me to suck her toes one day, so I did, and then we talked about it, and I said I'd do it more. She liked it, and then I knew someone else who liked the same thing. Then eventually I met someone who had given foot jobs before, and I was curious. I liked it, and eventually a friend of mine developed a minor interest in being dominant in some specific ways, while remaining a sub overall. She's complicated. She has conflicting desires a lot of the time. So anyway, she's given me foot jobs a few times too, and I enjoy them. The difference is, though, I would degrade someone if I thought they wanted it or needed it, or sometimes if I think it would be fun. They don't have to ask. I try to do it if I think that's what they'd want me to do. So I try to make that as effective as possible, so they're harder. With feet, I just don't want to do it unless the person I'm with does. I won't refuse, but I just have other interests and I would rather focus on things that really turn me on. So it's not quite the same, but I do also enjoy the part about my partner being turned on when I lick her toes or something. That part one do like, and I want to see more of. But yeah, not my favorite thing to do by any means. But I still get some enjoyment out of it. This is the end of the video. Thank you guys for staying with me till the end. If you enjoyed watching this, you might as well watch these too.